This guy is scary. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be diving into my boy Mob from Mob Psycho 100. This dude, I would say, is the most relatable main character in anime. So for those of you who don't know, I'll give some context. This guy is named Shigeo Kageyama, aka Mob. He basically looks like a younger version of One Punch Man. So imagine this. You're navigating the awkwardness of middle school. Crazy emotions, awkward smells, and the eternal struggle of trying to fit in, while also managing unstable and psychic powers. Like, no wonder Mob has breakdowns of him almost destroying the world. Whenever he goes through a challenging emotion, you see it as it slowly builds up until it finally bursts in an unforgiving wave of power. Mob's like any middle schooler who doesn't want to be seen as abnormal. It's the idea that Mob is trying to suppress his emotions to keep his powers under control, but instead it leaves him becoming more dangerous. Number 1. Helplessness. This is one of the first emotional breaks we see in the show, and I'd say it's one hell of an introduction just to how insanely powerful and scary Mob can be, trying to fit in and live his best life. You know, he got friends, hangs out with his brother, and is working towards talking to his crush. But then he comes across this guy named Toraki Hanazawa, who is apparently an Esper like himself. But straight away, we can see that this guy has some serious issues. Like, this dude is a few hairs from having a god complex. So they start fighting, and our boy Mob is just trying to be the civil one. Like, hey man, chill out, you look lame as hell. But Toraki, on the other hand, gets all emotional because Mob isn't throwing his weight around. Seriously, this guy starts bouncing like some hyperactive bug all of a sudden. This is when things start to take a turn, when Mob hesitates to fight back, and his friends end up getting hurt because of it. That pushes Mob to his breaking point. Just when you think things are about to spiral completely out of control, Mob remembers his childhood trauma and the fear of being seen as a monster, which leads him to start to despise a part of himself. Number 2, rage. In the later episodes, we are shown that Mob's brother Ritsu is kidnapped by a guy named Koyama, and Mob is faced with this dilemma of using his powers, but also holding his principles of avoiding using unnecessary violence. Like, dang, my boy can't take not one break. And this is for those of you who think Mob ain't doing shit. Don't get it twisted, okay? Mob uses his powers in the fight, but he just doesn't want it to consume his entire being, unlike some characters, okay? Seeing his brother in danger, this ultimately triggers Mob to use his energy and unleash its power, not just by reflex, but by manifestation of his emotional turmoil. Like, damn. This causes him to almost kill Koyama, pushing him to resurface his trauma on a deeper level. Mob feels immense guilt and regret, realizing just how dangerous his powers can be. This experience makes him more afraid of losing control and pushes him to rethink his values. Number 3, power. This is one of Mob's, I would argue, most pivotal moment in his character. In this point of the show, he is met with the powerful Esper, Tochiro Suzuki, who is obsessed with world domination. As Suzuki poses as a real threat to his friends and loved ones, Mob's anxiety rises, making him fully aware of what is at stake. Guys, this grown-ass man, Suzuki, bro, he starts trying to taunt Mob in their battle, and it's like, dude, you are 40 years old. Go pay taxes. Like, what are you doing? He basically makes Mob feel as though he is useless and he has no real reason to even have powers in the first place. This actually triggers Mob, and basically he reaches his breaking point and realizes that protecting his friends is worth facing his fears. In that moment of clarity, he unleashes this full psychic potential, going from a hesitant kid to an absolute powerhouse. And such a dramatic shift that shows just how strong he can really be. Like, for all those people who were saying that Psyche was pretty powerful, guys, Mob, when he's on his hormones and stuff, he dominates, okay? Like, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, okay? So in the show, Mob Psycho 100, we can see that emotions can be just as powerful as psychic abilities. Mob's journey is all about navigating middle school and dealing with feelings that can literally blow things up. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And if you enjoyed this video, I would highly recommend watching Mob Psycho 100. I think y'all would actually enjoy that. And speaking of other teens with power, in my last video, I did talk about Psyche K. And now that you have a better idea of how Mob Psycho is, who do you think would win in a fight?